Thanks, Matt. Well, for the 37th time in the 45-year history of this track, an Earnhardt stands in victory lane. This time it's Dale Jr., but it wasn't as easy as a lot of his fans thought it might be tonight.
Maybe not, but I think he made it. I think he made it interesting. Two things. Teresa Earnhardt has been to victory circle here more than anybody.
Right.
And Dale Jr. answered my question about why he was so fast through the turns. It sounded like he pulled a different gear than everybody else did, and that really paid off for him tonight. And I think he might not ought to told everybody that.
Well, Larry, did they all have the same strategy, or was the die cast when the leader lifted his hand and pulled into the inside to pit?
I mean, I was totally shocked that all 19 cars or 18 cars came to pit road at one time, but I think we answered one of the unknowns coming into this race. NASCAR making the body changes for all four makes, and here at the end of 70 laps with an intermission, a green flag stop, we have 15 cars less than a second apart at the finish of this race.
I can't wait for the rest of Speed Weeks, pole qualifying tomorrow, and of course the Daytona 500 in just 8 days. Chris, I wonder if we can hold our breath for that long.
Well, we're going to have to, as you get a look, the fireworks in the background here at Daytona, the unofficial results. Dale Earnhardt Jr. again starting 19th, coming from the furthest back to win. He led after the first 20 laps, that 10-minute intermission, and then the final 50 laps. The furthest back he got in that stretch was 7th. You see Jeff Gordon finishing 2nd. Kurt Busch, who led the most laps in the first portion, winding up 11th. Jeffrey Bodine, who was on the pole, did not finish the race. Let's get out to Steve Burns. Steve?
All right, thanks, Chris. Caught up with Ricky Craven here in the garage. Ricky, it looked like a wild one. How about from where you were sitting?
It was wild. I mean, I thought it's like a 2.5-mile Martinsville because it was mixed up from the very beginning. And but I got to confess, I enjoyed it. I don't know if that's normal, but I enjoyed it, and I think everybody.
None of you guys are normal.
I agree. The Tide Pontiac was so good to begin with, and it went away. The front of the car went away quick, and then when we got the two tires off, that helped temporarily. But it was a good start for us. And the good news is the best of the two cars is sitting over there for the Daytona 500.
All right, thanks, Ricky.
All right, it's interesting. Dale Earnhardt Jr., after came down to Daytona to test here and didn't have a contract with DEI, but after spending 4 hours, he worked out the details. Now he has a contract that'll take him through 2007. And certainly, one would ask, as we count down to the Daytona 500, which you'll see on Fox a week from Sunday here, Jeff, hey, if a car is that good and that fast that Little E has, why not use that one in the Daytona 500?
Chris, it's real simple. $1.3 million to win the Daytona 500, plus all the valuable points that go along with it. And most of these guys have saved their best piece for the Daytona 500. So these are good race cars that were raced tonight. But Daytona 500, those we're going to see the best of the best.
All right, we're just getting cranked up as we count down to the Daytona 500. And the first time the Budweiser Shootout held in prime time under the lights tomorrow on Fox. 1 o'clock Eastern, 10 a.m. Pacific. You'll see qualifying. So the first two positions, the pole will be decided. That's presented by Pizza Hut. You'll see that live from the Daytona. And next Sunday, the Daytona 500. Ward Burton, your defending champ. By the way, 5 times in the past, the winner of the Budweiser Shootout has gone on to win the Daytona 500. And you heard Dale Earnhardt Jr. talk a little bit about maybe changing the luck of past Daytona 500 winners who have won the race and not done very well. And there's a look at Little E. Remember last year's Daytona 500? It was Tony Stewart finishing last in that race and then going on to win the Winston Cup Points Championship. The countdown to the Daytona 500 continues. First time that the Budweiser Shootout in prime time, but it was the right time for Dale Earnhardt Jr. as he turned out the winner. We thank you for watching from Daytona. Have a nice weekend. We'll see you next time for NASCAR on Fox.